Joining me live now from Uluru is the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Prime Minister, thanks for your time. In March, you were visibly moved when you announced the final wording of the referendum and the constitutional amendment. Now you're at Uluru this afternoon. Is that sense of history still very much front of mind for you?
Certainly is, Kieran. This is a once-in-a-generation chance for us to recognise the first Australians in our nation's constitution, and to do so in a form in which we've been requested by them when they gathered here at 2017 for the First Nations Constitutional Convention. And the request was a very modest one. It was to have recognition through a voice, a non-binding advisory committee that could advise government and the Parliament on matters affecting Indigenous Australians so that we could get better results, because we know that when we consult people who are directly affected, you do then get better outcomes. And there's something else as well, Kieran. You get responsibility for those outcomes. So there is a sense of history as we approach Saturday. Just a few days to go now, and I sincerely hope that Australians take this opportunity to vote yes.
It doesn't look like that's going to happen, though. The polling we've seen all points to a defeat for yes. In fact, this polling that Sky News obtained shows that Lingiari, where you are, the seat where Uluru is, looks like it's going to vote no as well. How damaging has the division within the Indigenous community been to the prospect?
Kieran, obtained from where? Where was the polling obtained from? The idea that there's been polling on individual seats. I saw some reports this morning. I mean, frankly, I've been in politics a long time, and you've been reporting on it for a long time. The idea that you have individual seat polling without any figures or any detail of how many people were contacted, etc. I have seen reports. I'm amazed that they actually get written that seems to be based on some UK company based upon modelling without talking to anyone. We'll wait and see what happens on Saturday. The fact is that the Central Land Council, I'll be meeting with later today here in Uluru, have all met again on the weekend to support the Yes campaign. There is support from every single land council in the Northern Territory, as well as support from the NT Chief Minister, of course, and the NT government, like every Premier and Chief Minister, Labor and Coalition, including former Premier Perrottet across the board, have all supported a Yes campaign, as have every faith as well. So we'll wait and see when people cast their votes, but I'm confident when people focus on what this referendum is about, that we can have a successful outcome on Saturday.
You said when you announced that final wording that we'll feel better about ourselves if we get this done. In fact, you've repeated that many times. If it doesn't get done, there's going to be a lot of healing to do, isn't there, in this country? Do you accept that?
Well, we're living in no right now, Kieran. That's the point. We're living in a circumstance where there's an 8-year life expectancy gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australia, where there's a greater chance of an Indigenous young male going to jail than to university. So we need to do better. And what we've been doing is making sure that we deal with issues in a way in which we've been requested by having a constitutional recognition, but through a voice to Parliament.
Has the campaign relied too much on the heart and not enough on the head to get the detail out there? Have you looked back over the campaign and thought maybe we should have put more detail out there to placate people, to ease people's concerns?
The detail's there, Kieran. The detail's there in the wording being put forward here, in recognition of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the first peoples of Australia is the first part, and then it goes through. There shall be a body to be called the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Voice, and then secondly, what it will do, it may make representations on matters to the Parliament and government on matters affecting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And then thirdly, to make sure that the primacy of the Parliament is very clear as well.